Hey, howdy hey, and welcome back to Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. Question 5. I'm pretty sure Esther's eyes are brown in this movie Orphan, and then all of a sudden at the climax they turn blue. Oh, blue eyes, scary. I mean, I get that the film's trying to make her more frightening, but it's been building up what a sadistic personality she has, so either go for subtlety or go all out. God!
This is God.
Ah, here we go. Now then, I am very excited to introduce another horror icon. Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the horror movie, apparently. You can go up to any person on the street and ask them to name a horror movie, and they'll probably go with this one. So, I'm going into this one blind, with very high hopes and a critical eye. Those two are probably not the best of bedfellows, are they? Oh well. So in the intro, we see a dude making that iconic razor glove. Then a girl is seen running from said man, and a sheep. Okay. Oh, and the man's credited as Fred Krueger, if you please. So Freddy goes after Tina, who wakes up just in time. But oh look.
Tina, honey, you gotta cut your fingernails, you gotta stop that kind of dreaming. One or the other.
I don't care which one, but we are running through $80 worth of new nighties a week there, missy. Tina discusses her nightmare with her friends, and discovers that Nancy had the same dream. And so did Glenn, judging by his expression. Wait, is that who I think it is? Put some eyeliner and a beard on that guy. It is! Aw, look how cute he is. And Tina's going out with Prince. The werewolf formerly known as Prince. Oh no, Freddy's coming through the wall! This must be what inspired Chris Brown in that music video. Of course, Tina falls asleep, and in her dream she strolls into the garden with nary a pyjama bottom in sight to check if somebody's out there. Which is a stupid thing to do, even if you are asleep. Freddy gives chase and stretches out his arms. This must be what inspired Marina and the Diamonds in that music video. I think I'm noticing a pattern here. Anyway, Freddy catches her in the dream world, which somehow translates to her being dragged across the ceiling in this world. Great effects, but I have to wonder, how is Freddy doing all of this? Can he climb walls? Is he using his big long arms again? We may never know. Oh, Tina's dead. Her boyfriend Rod escapes as Nancy and Glenn discover the horrible aftermath. Nancy's father, a police officer, is angry that she was shacking up with the other three, which I can excuse since it's generally assumed that Werewolf Prince just killed a girl. And nobody paid any attention to the Sidewinder blood trails on the ceiling. The next day, Werewolf Prince gets caught, and Nancy chooses to believe that he wasn't the one who killed Tina. And speaking of Tina... Hello! Yes, Nancy has fallen asleep in class, which is understandable.
Were it not that I have bad dreams.
That means it's time for another Freddy attack.
No running in the hallway.
You know, the girl playing Nancy doesn't do the whole fear thing very well. Not as well as Tina, anyway. I know she was picked because she seemed like the every girl, sweet and wholesome type, but, Anyway, Nancy heads downstairs to the boiler room. Well, Freddy does need metal stuff to rake against and hanging cloth to slash through. Since we're talking about Freddy, I'd like to consider him separately from the plot of this film. He's only in it for about 10 minutes, but still, they make good use of the time. He really loves being a supernatural killer in a horror movie, and the glove works exceptionally well as an extension of his evil. The film also builds him up at the beginning with a chant sung by children. And then there's the film's creepy music, which reminds me of something called the Devil's Interval, a chord that was once banned by the church.
And that is highly effective as a doorbell, see?
And it's implied that the children that Freddy killed when he was alive were some of Nancy and Co.'s classmates. There's also the little fact of him being a child molester that was taken out of the script. Oh well. Subtext!
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
Nope. So Freddy as a character, I like him. He gets a thumbs up from me. However, the film itself was, and I'm going to annoy some people here, not brilliant. I've mentioned my problems with Nancy's acting, but she's not bad enough to ruin the whole experience. Her performance reminds me a lot of Jennifer Connelly's in Labyrinth, which actually came out 2 years after Anos. Nope, my main quibble, funny word, is with the inconsistencies in dream logic. When Freddy murders Tina, in her dream world she's outside, and then somehow they get inside and under the covers. Did they teleport, or did Tina pull him into the real world somehow? Later on, Nancy tells Glenn to watch over her as she goes looking for someone, and then Glenn appears in her dream world to reassure her that he's still watching. So, is he really? And if so, is she somehow calling to the real world Glenn in her sleep? And if he's not watching her, then why does Glenn only disappear from her dream world when he himself falls asleep? And why does a clock wake Nancy up when Tina couldn't be woken by Prince's screams? Sorry, I know, I mustn't go overboard with the questions. Again. Freddy murders Prince, going for the subtle approach, which is good, I suppose. If he'd splattered him all over the cell, then those police officers would be in a lot of trouble, so, it's nice that Freddy doesn't implicate them. Nancy realises that she can pull things from her dream world into reality, including Freddy's hat. Of course, Nancy's mother denies what she saw and won't admit that she knows who Freddy is.
Mother!
Mother! Later, she tells Nancy the truth.
He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood. Did they put him away? Somebody forgot to sign the search warrant in the right place and Kreuger was free just like that.
Doubt that happened, since he did murder 20 kids. But yeah, the parents burned him to death and now he's out for revenge against the remaining kids. So, Nancy decides to bring Freddy out of her dreams and into her car. I mean, bring him out and get him arrested. She also sets up traps for him, and surprisingly they work.
Oh no! A locked door! My one weakness!
Freddy manages to kill Glenn in spectacular fashion. Again, great special effects, which the police find mildly baffling. Meanwhile, Nancy is trapped in the house, as her parents put bars on the windows and doors because Nancy isn't sleeping.
Daddy, help me! Please!
Maybe I better go tell the lieutenant.
Very possibly you should, arsehole. Freddy nabs the mother, but then Nancy confronts him, and she says,
I take back every bit of energy I gave you. You're nothing.
You have no power over me. You have no power over me.
This seems to work, and Freddy disappears. So the last few days were all a dream. Maybe? I don't know. Well, he's got them now anyway. You could argue that Freddy just likes to toy with his victims in the most confusing way possible, but that ending just gave me a headache. This is going to be a long video, isn't it? Well, anyway, I went into this film expecting Freddy to wow me, and he did. The film itself is pretty different from previous slasher movies. Some people say that A Nightmare on Elm Street reinvented and reinvigorated the horror genre, but I'm really not happy with that ending, and apparently neither was Wes Craven himself. He wanted Nancy to actually defeat Freddy in Dream and live happily ever after, sort of fitting in with Glenn's speech from earlier.
Well, what if they meet a monster in their dreams? Then what?
They turn their back on it, take away its energy, and it disappears.
But we, the audience, got this one instead. And we got a whole load of sequels as well. Yay. Now, can I justify giving this film comparatively fewer jam sandwiches because it just didn't float my boat? Because I love Hellraiser, despite its many flaws. And, you know what? I'm sure it'll grow on me, and it is a classic, so I'm going to give A Nightmare on Elm Street 7 jam sandwiches out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio.